Okay, this is Liz Craft here with Student Involvement. I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the access pieces of a page on Are You Involved? So if your department has a department page and you want to edit it, not everybody can automatically edit your department page. So I'm going to talk through some of those pieces. So the first thing you want to do is get to your department page. So you log into your My RU portal, scroll down, click on Are You Involved? And then you want to type in the name of your department page. So in a previous video when I did an example of how to set up a department page, I used Highlanders Are Amazing, so I'm going to use that one here. Okay, so first thing that you can do to notice whether or not you have access is if you see this Manage Organization button over here, then you have access to manage that organization. If you don't see the button, you don't have access. If you need access, you can email me, ecraft5@radford.edu, and I can work on getting you that access. But in order for a smooth process for me to grant you that access, it's helpful if you are on the roster for this organization. So if you don't know who is the main form, you can send an email. The person who is the primary contact will get an email. Go here, it doesn't say there's any officers. You can view the roster and see if the primary contact is me, or see who it is in your office, and you can contact that person and ask them to add you to the organization roster. Once you're added to the roster, then I can grant you access. Okay, so now I'm going to go through some of the tools in managing your organization. So if you do have access, you click on Manage Organization. You'll see this page. Re-register this organization. Registration for departments is going to be ongoing, so you'll pretty much always see this. But if you have any major changes to your department page, it's sometimes easier to complete this re-registration form rather than trying to make all the edits individually on the page. So if you have any need to do any major changes where you have a completely new roster, or a bunch of different descriptions and documents and things that you want changed, like a major overhaul kind of deal, just reach out to me and we can walk through that, because it'll save you a little bit of time if you go this way rather than trying to make the edits individually. Okay, so again, this is the hamburger button, the waffle button. So you want to click on the hamburger button, and it's going to show you a bunch of things you can do with your page. So if you click on the roster, this is going to show you who all is considered a member of your department. So you can list everybody in the department. If you want, you can just list the people that need to be doing something on the page. You can go over here to manage positions. You can create positions. These are kind of the default positions that the program creates. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to change president to something else, so you will more than likely have somebody assigned to the president role, even though they're not a president role. But you can also create positions, so like assistant director, director, things like that. And when you do, you can change their access. So let's see. You can change the type 2 member. You can make it an officer. You can decide whether or not you want those positions to be listed on the roster for students to be able to view, or if you want that hidden. Definitely want to click active, otherwise it's going to be a previous position. And then you can change their access. So if you want them to have completely full access to managing the page, you click all access, or particularly if you've got student workers that you want to manage the page, this limited access feature is really helpful, because you can say I want them to be able to view documents, I want them to be able to create and manage forms, but then they don't have access to change the roster or the information that students see when they go to your page, the profile, things like that. But they can do, creating forms if you want. They can create events, things like that. So you can kind of play with this to see what kind of settings you want for your different positions. or you can just grant all access to new positions. See? And then it'll show up here. So if you go back to the roster, you can invite people. Once they show up here, you can assign them positions. So if you click on this little pencil thing over here next to the person's name, you can assign them positions. So I'll make myself. Yeah. So that's how you assign positions, and it'll grant them access based on that position. Primary contact, if you need to change who that is, you just click on the pencil here and then select the individual from the roster that would be the new primary contact. So the first step in changing access and adding people is having the primary contact invite people to the page. Once they're on this roster, then you can assign them positions, change the primary contact, all those pieces. Alright, so if you go back to the hamburger button, go to the About section. Some of this, we filled out when we did the initial page setup, but you can play with it. This is like the brief summary, and then this is a longer description if you choose to include that. Again, your contact information that you can add if you want to add like where your office is, that kind of stuff. If you have a website, you can include the link there, social media handles, and then any changes you make, you want to make sure you hit this update button. And if you want to change your picture, that's it for here. Alright, events. I did another video about events, but this is where you would go to view and create an event. News. So you have the ability to create a news story. I can show you. If you go on the Are You Involved homepage and scroll down, you see all these like latest news bits. These are news stories. So if you want, you can actually have a news story that you make show up on this feed, and it just kind of changes as more get added. So that's why you'd want to create a news story. And students do look through that. We've gotten some feedback that students read the news articles that are posted because they're really short. So it's designed to just be a quick snippet of information. Gallery, it's where you add your pictures. Document section. So if you've got any manuals or paper forms or instructions, that kind of thing that students might need access to, this is where you can add those. And you can add a folder, so you can sort it by folders, as well as just adding the file. Forms. I will be creating another video that walks through how to create a form, but this is where you get to that part. Forms are really helpful for like sign-up forms or surveys, that kind of thing, but it's a little bit more intricate than I want to get to in this video, so I'll be making a separate video to go over that. Elections. Probably not something you're going to be using as a department, but just in case you're curious, or maybe your university programs that your department runs might use this. You do have the option to create and run an election here. If you're wanting to do that, just email me and I can walk you through some of those resources. It's pretty self-explanatory once you set it up, particularly if you've done a form before. It's very similar, but that's where you would get through here. Alright. Those are all the options on the hamburger button for managing your page.